I was explaining Thai culture to my massage therapist when everything collapsed. She was Thai, born in Nakhon Ratchasima, just like my girlfriend. I was telling her about the monthly payments I made to my girlfriend's family, the special ceremonies, the cultural obligations. I was actually proud that I understood Thai culture in a way most foreigners didn't. She stopped mid-massage. "That's not Thai culture," she said quietly. "That's someone lying to you." I'd been paying for 11 months, $38,000, all because I thought I was being respectful. All because I believed her when she said Thai culture requires this. And the worst part? I'd defended her to other expats. I'd corrected people in forums. I'd written long posts about how Westerners just don't understand Thai family values. I was 61 years old. I'd been a librarian for 33 years. I thought I was careful, thoughtful, someone who did research. But I'd fallen for something that now seems so obvious, and the shame of that realization is worse than losing the money. My name is Leonard Hayworth, and this is how I let Thai culture become the weapon that took nearly $40,000 from me while I smiled and said thank you. I arrived in Thailand in February, 7 months after my divorce was finalized. Margaret and I had been married for 28 years. The divorce was civil, even friendly by the end. She wanted different things. I wanted to stop pretending I wasn't lonely. At 61, retirement looming, I decided I needed something completely different. Thailand seemed like the right kind of different. I'd always been interested in Buddhism, not the Western appropriated version, but actual Buddhist philosophy. I'd read books, attended lectures at the university. I wanted to experience it in its cultural context. I told myself this was a spiritual journey, not running away. Maybe it was both. I met Waruni on my second week in Chiang Mai. I was at a temple, completely lost trying to understand the proper etiquette. She approached me with a smile and asked if I needed help. Her English was good. Her manner was patient. She explained the why, how to walk around the Buddha statue, what each gesture meant. I felt like I'd met a teacher. We had coffee afterward. She told me about growing up in Nakhon Ratchasima, about studying tourism management at university, about working in hospitality until her mother got sick and she had to move back home to help the family. She asked thoughtful questions about America, about my life, about why I came to Thailand. She didn't ask about money. She didn't flirt aggressively. She seemed genuinely interested in cultural exchange. That's what drew me in. Not her looks, though she was attractive, not some fantasy about exotic women. It was the way she positioned our relationship from the beginning as mutual cultural education. She would teach me about Thailand. I would share Western perspectives. We would learn from each other. It felt mature, intellectual, respectful. By week 3, we were seeing each other daily. She'd take me to local markets and explain the ingredients. We'd visit temples and she'd translate the significance of different rituals. She'd correct my Thai pronunciation gently, laughing at my mistakes but never making me feel stupid. I felt like I was getting an authentic experience that most tourists never get. The first time Thai culture came up in a financial context was week 4. We were having dinner with her cousin who was visiting from Bangkok. The cousin spoke almost no English, so Waruni translated everything. At the end of the meal, I reached for the check. The cousin said something in Thai, and Waruni looked uncomfortable. "What did she say?" I asked. Waruni hesitated. "She say that in Thai culture, when man meet woman's family for first time, it's customary to give small gift, money, usually, to show respect and that your intentions are good." "Oh," I said. "How much would be appropriate? Maybe 2,000 baht? It's just tradition, showing respect." 2,000 baht was about $55. It seemed reasonable, a cultural custom I hadn't known about. I gave the money to her cousin, who smiled and said something that Waruni translated as, "He's very respectful. You chose well." I felt good about it. I'd done the right thing, the culturally appropriate thing. Looking back now, that was the test, to see if I'd pay without question, to see if I'd accept Thai culture as sufficient explanation. And I passed her test perfectly. The next cultural obligation came 2 weeks later. We were at her apartment when she got a call from her mother. After hanging up, she looked stressed. I asked what was wrong. "My mother needs help with rent this month," she said. "She's having trouble because my brother lost his job. In Thai culture, children always help parents. It's our most important duty. Family takes care of family." "How much does she need?" I asked. 5,000 baht. "But I already give her money last week. I don't have more right now." 5,000 baht was about $140. I handed her the cash without really thinking about it. Of course, children should help their parents. That wasn't uniquely Thai, that was just being a decent person. And I had the money. Why wouldn't I help? "You're very kind," she said, hugging me. "Most Farang don't understand about Thai family. They think only about themselves. But you understand our culture." Those words felt like a prize. You understand our culture. I'd only been in Thailand 6 weeks and I was already being recognized as different from other foreigners, as someone who got it. That became the pattern. Every week or two, a new cultural obligation would emerge. Her father's truck needed repairs in Thai culture. The eldest daughter's boyfriend should help with these things if he's serious about the relationship. That was 8,000 baht. A cousin's wedding was coming up in Thai culture. Family members contribute to wedding costs, and since I was practically family now, it would be respectful to contribute. That was 15,000 baht. Each time, she'd frame it as culture, as tradition, as what Thai people do. And each time, I'd pay. Not because I was being pressured, but because I wanted to be respectful. I wanted to be the kind of foreigner who understood that different cultures have different values. I'd grown up Presbyterian in Seattle, taught to respect others' beliefs, to avoid being judgmental. Cultural relativism was practically a religion in itself in my social circle back home. By month 3, I'd sent over $3,000 to various family members for various cultural obligations. I didn't track it carefully because it felt petty to track it. These weren't transactions. These were demonstrations of respect and understanding. I'd also started defending Thai culture online. I'd joined a few expat forums to learn more about living in Thailand, and I was shocked by how many Western men complained about supporting their Thai girlfriends' families. They called it being used. They called Thai women gold diggers. They complained about Sin Sod and monthly payments and family obligations. I wrote long posts explaining that this was Thai culture, that family structures in Asia are different from the West, that if you're going to be in a relationship with someone from another culture, you need to respect their values, not impose your individualistic Western values on them. That calling family support being used was actually pretty racist and showed a fundamental misunderstanding of collectivist cultures. I got pushback. People told me I was being naive, that there's a difference between legitimate cultural practices and manipulation, that I should research actual cultural norms rather than just believing what my girlfriend told me. I dismissed them. They were bitter expats, men who'd been burned and now painted all Thai women with the same brush. I wasn't like them. I was approaching this relationship with cultural humility and open-mindedness. The validation I got from Waruni reinforced this belief. She'd tell me about other Farangs she knew who were rude, who refused to follow Thai customs, who thought they could act in Thailand the way they acted in their home countries. "But you're different," she'd say. "You respect Thai culture. You understand. That's very rare." I was proud of that difference. Proud that I wasn't one of those entitled Westerners who expected everyone else to adapt to them. I was adapting. I was learning. I was being respectful. Month 4 is when things started escalating more rapidly, though I didn't recognize it as escalation at the time. Each new obligation seemed to naturally follow from previous ones. Her father needed a new truck. The old one was beyond repair. In Thai culture, when a man is serious about a woman, he helps her family with major purchases. This shows he can provide and has good intentions. The truck cost 80,000 baht, about $2,200. I hesitated on that one. Not because I thought it was wrong, but because it was the largest single amount I'd been asked for. Waruni noticed my hesitation immediately. "You don't have to," she said, her voice small. "I understand. It's a lot of money. I just thought, because you said you wanted to be part of my family, but maybe I misunderstood. No, I said quickly. I do want to be part of your family. I'm just making sure I budget correctly. Of course I'll help. She hugged me tightly. Thank you. My father will be so happy. In Thai culture, this is very significant. It means you're serious about our future together. The truck purchase changed something. After that, when financial requests came up, she'd reference it. You already helped with truck. I know. You've been so generous. But this is also important in Thai culture. It created a kind of sunk cost. I'd already invested so much in demonstrating my respect for her culture. To question new requests felt like questioning my previous choices. Month 5 brought a new category of cultural obligation: Buddhist ceremonies. Waruni's family wanted to have a special ceremony at the temple to honor her deceased grandmother. The monk required donations. In Thai culture, these donations need to be generous to ensure good karma for the family. The ceremony would require 40,000 baht, about $1,100. Can I ask a question? I said carefully. How much would a Thai family typically donate for a ceremony like this? She looked hurt. You're questioning it? This is about honoring my grandmother, about karma and respect for ancestors. In Thai culture, we don't put a price on these things. We give from the heart. I'm not questioning it, I said quickly. I'm just trying to understand. I want to do this right. The monk said 40,000 baht is appropriate for a family ceremony of this importance. If you don't trust my culture, if you don't trust the monk, then maybe you're not ready for Thai girlfriend. I apologized. I sent the money. I felt guilty for questioning. How dare I, a foreigner who'd been in Thailand for 5 months, question what a Thai woman and a Thai monk said was appropriate? My Western skepticism was showing. My cultural imperialism. I needed to check that. That's how she trained me. Any question was framed as disrespect. Any hesitation was framed as not trusting her or her culture. Any attempt to verify was framed as being like those other prejudiced foreigners, and I desperately didn't want to be that person. By month 6, I'd moved in with her family. She said this was an important step in Thai culture when a couple is getting serious. Living with the family shows respect, shows you're willing to integrate into Thai life, shows you're not just using her for temporary companionship. I'd rented a small apartment when I first arrived, but I gave that up to move into her family's house in Nakhon Ratchasima. Living with the family meant new cultural obligations. I needed to contribute to household expenses. In Thai culture, when an adult man lives with a family, he helps support everyone. That was 15,000 baht per month, about $420. Plus, there were frequent family events that required contributions: a nephew's school enrollment, an aunt's medical expenses, a cousin's business startup costs. I also started to notice that Waruni was increasingly uncomfortable with me spending time with other expats. When I mentioned meeting some people from an expat meetup group, she frowned. Those expat groups are very negative about Thai culture, she said. They don't understand our way. They complain about everything. If you spend time with them, you'll start thinking like them. You'll stop understanding real Thailand. She had a point. I'd seen the negativity in the forums, but it also meant my social circle was now entirely people she knew. Her family, her friends, people who reinforced her version of Thai culture. I had no independent verification sources. Month 7 is when I started to feel a low-level unease I couldn't quite articulate, not about any single request, but about the cumulative pattern. Cultural obligations came up every few days now, always framed as tradition, always with some urgency, always with the implication that questioning them meant questioning my commitment or respect. Her sister needed money for her wedding. Her brother needed money for a business opportunity. Her mother needed money for a temple donation. Her father needed money for a ceremony, always between 5,000 and 20,000 baht, always presented as cultural necessity. I'd started a spreadsheet by this point, not to confront her, but just to keep track for my own budgeting. In 7 months, I'd given $31,000 for various cultural obligations. That was a significant amount of my savings, but I rationalized it. This is what it costs to be in an intercultural relationship. This is the price of respect. I'm learning valuable lessons about Thai culture. And I was still defending the expenses online. When expats complained about supporting Thai families, I'd write posts explaining that this is normal in collectivist cultures, that Americans are so individualistic we've forgotten the value of extended family support, that criticizing family financial structures in other cultures is ethnocentric and frankly racist. I'd get responses like, "Bro, you're being scammed," or "That's not Thai culture. That's your girlfriend's culture." Or, "Ask literally any Thai person who's not connected to your girlfriend if this is normal." I'd dismiss them. They were the cynical ones, the closed-minded ones, the ones who came to Thailand expecting it to be just like home and then complained when it wasn't. I was different. Month 8 brought the first major contradiction, though I rationalized it away at the time. Waruni had told me early on that in Thai culture, women from good families don't drink alcohol. It's considered immodest and disrespectful. She'd refused when I suggested going to a bar, saying her family would be ashamed if anyone saw her drinking. But one evening I came back from the bathroom at a family party to find her doing shots with her cousins. When I looked confused, she laughed. "This is different. This is family celebration. Thai culture says this is okay. You don't understand the nuance." The rules seemed to change based on what she wanted to do. Thai culture was rigid when it prevented something I wanted or required something from me. But Thai culture was flexible and nuanced when it allowed something she wanted. I noticed this, but I pushed the observation away. Cultures are complex, I told myself. I'm still learning. Month 9 is when the guilt weaponization became more explicit. I'd questioned the cost of another temple donation, 50,000 baht this time, about $1,400. I didn't refuse. I just asked if we could discuss it. Maybe plan it for next month when I'd have more in my budget. Her response was immediate and emotional. She started crying. "You're like every other Farang. I thought you were different. I thought you understood Thai culture, but you just want Thai girlfriend without Thai culture. You want me to be Western. You want me to abandon my family, my traditions, my values. This is so disrespectful." Her mother came in, saw her crying, and started speaking rapidly in Thai. Waruni translated, "My mother says she can't believe you would disrespect our family like this. She says she thought you were a good man, but questioning temple donations? That's questioning Buddha. That's questioning our entire culture." I felt terrible. I apologized profusely. I sent the money immediately. I felt like the worst kind of cultural imperialist. Here I was, a wealthy American, questioning a temple donation. What was wrong with me? That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the interaction, about how quickly it had escalated from, "Can we discuss timing?" to, "You're disrespecting Buddha and our entire culture," about how my girlfriend and her mother had used my fear of being disrespectful to shut down any conversation. But I pushed those thoughts away. Cultural conflicts happen in intercultural relationships. I need to be more sensitive, less Western in my thinking, more open to different ways of doing things. Month 10 brought what should have been the most obvious red flag, but I was so deep in the pattern by then that I couldn't see it. Waruni told me that in Thai culture, once a couple has been together for almost a year and living with family, the man needs to give the family a special commitment gift to show his serious intentions. This gift needs to be substantial because it represents his promise to always support the family, not just while dating but forever. The commitment gift needed to be 100,000 baht, about $2,800. I asked, as carefully as I could, whether this was a common tradition. She looked at me with disappointment. "Leonard, why do you always question? For 10 months, I teach you Thai culture. For 10 months, you say you want to understand. But every time there's a cultural requirement, you question. You ask if it's common. In Thai culture, we don't question our elders. We don't question our traditions. We trust our family. We trust our culture. Don't you trust me?" "Of course I trust you," I said. Then why do you need to verify everything? Why isn't my word enough? I'm Thai. This is my culture. You're telling me you know my culture better than me? I gave her the commitment gift. By month 10, I'd given $35,000 for cultural obligations. Month 11 is when everything started to unravel, though it took me weeks to accept what was happening. I'd been having chronic back pain and decided to get regular massage therapy. The massage place was near the house, and I started going twice a week. My massage therapist's name was Kanika. She was 47, born and raised in Nakhon Ratchasima, married to a Thai man from Udon Thani, 3 kids. We'd chat during sessions. I'd practice my Thai. She'd correct me gently and laugh at my pronunciation, just like Waruni did. After several sessions, we'd built a friendly rapport. She asked about my life in Thailand, and I told her about my relationship, about living with Waruni's family. You're very generous to support the whole family, Kanika said neutrally. Well, that's Thai culture, right? I said. Family support is important here. Yes, family support is important. But you support everyone, the whole family? It's what Waruni explains is respectful. Monthly household contributions, plus cultural ceremonies, family events. I want to do it right. Kanika was quiet for a moment. How much do you give for household contribution? 15,000 baht per month, plus additional amounts for special cultural obligations, temple donations, ceremonies, family events. It varies. Kanika stopped massaging. 15,000 baht per month just for household? Plus more? Yes. Is that unusual? She chose her words carefully. In Thai culture, yes, children support parents when parents are old and cannot work, but 15,000 baht per month? That's more than many families' entire income. And cultural ceremonies don't happen every month, maybe a few times per year. I felt something cold in my stomach. But Waruni explained that this is normal, that this is Thai culture. Kanika said quietly, That's not Thai culture. That's someone lying to you. I didn't want to believe her. I immediately started rationalizing. Maybe Kanika was from a different social class. Maybe her family's traditions were different. Maybe she was jealous. Maybe she didn't understand Izan culture specifically. Maybe she was one of those Thais who judged women who dated foreigners. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. For the first time in 11 months, I allowed myself to actually question. That night, after Waruni went to sleep, I took out my laptop and started researching. I typed into Google, Thai culture monthly family support foreigner boyfriend. The results were eye-opening. The first result was a Thai Visa forum thread titled Cultural Manipulation Red Flags. I clicked it. The thread was 3 years old with 247 responses. I started reading, comment after comment, from expats describing similar experiences. Mine told me Thai culture requires monthly respect money, with 15 people responding that no such tradition exists. Mine said temple donations need to be huge amounts, with multiple Thai people responding that temple donations are typically small and voluntary. Mine said questioning family expenses is disrespectful to Thai culture, with an actual Thai cultural studies professor responding that healthy relationships welcome questions. I found a specific comment that made my blood run cold. If your Thai partner uses Thai culture to shut down questions about money, you're being manipulated. Real cultural education welcomes curiosity and verification. Weaponized culture prevents both. I spent 4 hours reading that forum thread. I found 12 different stories nearly identical to mine. Different women, different cities, same script. Thai culture requires, followed by a financial demand, followed by emotional manipulation if questioned. I searched more specifically. Thai culture financial obligations boyfriend. I found an article from a Thai cultural center explaining actual financial norms in Thai relationships. It explained that while children do support aging parents, the amounts are reasonable and proportional to income. It explained that temple donations are voluntary and typically modest. It explained that family contributions exist but shouldn't be one-sided or financially burdensome. The article had a specific section, red flags for cultural exploitation in intercultural relationships. The list included partner claims to be sole authority on what culture requires. Cultural obligations are only financial, never reciprocal. Questioning is labeled disrespectful or racist. Cultural rules change based on partners' convenience. Isolation from other cultural perspectives. Escalating demands with increasing urgency. Comparison to real Thai men or good foreigners who pay more. I had experienced every single red flag on that list. I kept searching. I found a YouTube video by a Thai-American anthropology professor discussing cultural manipulation in expat relationships. She explained that manipulators take real cultural values like family support and respect for elders and twist them into tools for extraction. She explained that the most successful cultural manipulation happens with people who are genuinely trying to be respectful and culturally sensitive because their own values make them vulnerable to guilt. People who want to be good allies, who want to avoid being culturally insensitive, are actually the easiest targets, she said in the video, because you can use their own values against them. You can make them afraid that questioning you is racist or ethnocentric. And once you've established that dynamic, you can claim almost anything as cultural tradition and they'll believe you because not believing you would make them the bad guy. I felt like I was watching someone describe exactly what had happened to me. I'd been so afraid of being a disrespectful foreigner, so afraid of being another entitled Westerner, that I'd become the perfect mark. But I still wanted to verify with actual Thai sources. The next day, I told Waruni I needed to go to Udon Thani for the day to handle some administrative tasks. Instead, I went to Khon Kaen University. I'd found online that they had a Center for Thai Cultural Studies. I made an appointment with a researcher there named Dr. Prasert Nakprakorn. I explained my situation. I showed him the spreadsheet I'd created with all the cultural obligations I'd paid for. I showed him messages from Waruni explaining various cultural requirements. I asked him, point blank, whether these were legitimate Thai cultural practices. Dr. Prasert read through everything carefully. Then he looked at me with what I can only describe as pity. Mr. Hayworth, I need to be honest with you. Some of what you've described touches on real Thai cultural values. Family support is important in Thai culture. Respect for elders is important. Buddhist merit-making is important. But the way these have been presented to you and the amounts involved are not reflective of actual cultural practice. So it's exaggerated? I asked, hoping for a milder explanation. Let me be more direct. The monthly household contribution of 15,000 baht is 3 to 4 times what would be typical, even for a generous arrangement. The frequency of temple donations you've described is unusual. Most families make donations a few times per year, not monthly, and amounts of 40 or 50,000 baht are extremely high. The commitment gift is not a traditional practice I've ever encountered in my research. The pattern you've described suggests systematic financial exploitation disguised as cultural obligation. But she's Thai, I said weakly. How would she not know her own culture? She knows her culture, Dr. Prasert said gently. She's also using your ignorance of that culture to manipulate you. The fact that you came here to verify, the fact that you didn't just believe her, suggests you were starting to recognize this. I'm sorry. I sat in his office for a long time after he finished. He gave me several academic articles about intercultural relationship dynamics and financial exploitation. He gave me the contact information for an expat support group that specializes in helping people navigate these situations. He told me I wasn't the first person to come to him with this exact story. That's what hurt the most. That I wasn't even original in being fooled. I drove back to Nakhon Ratchasima in a daze. I stopped at a coffee shop outside the city and sat for 2 hours, just processing. I made a list in my notebook of every cultural obligation I'd paid for over 11 months. Next to each one, I wrote what Dr. Prasert had said about actual cultural norms. Sin Sod, which we hadn't discussed yet, but she'd mentioned would be necessary. She'd said it would need to be 800,000 baht. Dr. Prasert said for someone with her background in education, 200 to 400,000 baht would be generous. Monthly household contribution. I'd been paying 15,000 baht, Dr. Prasert said 4 to 6,000 baht would be appropriate. Temple donations. I'd paid between 40 and 60,000 baht per donation, multiple times. Dr. Prasert said typical donations range from 100 to 5,000 baht, depending on the ceremony. The commitment gift, 100,000 baht. Dr. Prasert had never heard of this tradition. Cultural ceremonies for various family events, multiple payments of 5 to 20,000 baht. Dr. Prasert said these ceremonies exist but are typically funded by the family, with contributions from relatives being modest. I calculated the difference between what I'd paid and what Dr. Prasert indicated were normal amounts for each category. The exploitation premium was approximately $28,000. That's how much extra I'd paid above what legitimate cultural obligations would have cost. $28,000 I'd given because I believed her, because I wanted to be respectful, because I was terrified of being another entitled foreigner. I felt sick, not just about the money, though that hurt, but about how completely I'd been manipulated, about how I'd defended her to other people, about how I'd argued with expats online, telling them they were being racist when they tried to warn people about exactly what had happened to me. I drove back to the house. Waruni was in the living room watching Thai dramas. Her mother was in the kitchen. I asked if we could talk privately. We went to the bedroom. "I need to ask you something," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I've been researching Thai cultural practices about family financial obligations. I've spoken to cultural experts, and some of what I've been told by you doesn't match what multiple sources say is actual Thai cultural practice." Her face went through several expressions very quickly. Surprise, fear, anger, and then landed on hurt. "You researched? You went behind my back to check if I'm lying? I want to understand. I want to make sure I have accurate information about Thai culture." "I am Thai culture," she said, her voice rising. "I lived here my whole life. You lived here 11 months, and you think you know better than me?" I spoke with Dr. Prasert at Khon Kaen University. He's a Thai cultural studies researcher. He said some of the amounts and practices you've described are not typical. "One professor? You believe one professor more than me? More than my family? This is so disrespectful." "Waruni, it wasn't just one professor. I read academic articles. I read expat forums with multiple Thai people commenting. I researched actual cultural norms. The monthly household contribution you said was necessary. Multiple sources say it's 2 to 3 times higher than typical. The temple donation amounts are not normal. The commitment gift doesn't appear to be a real tradition." She started crying. "I can't believe you're calling me a liar. I can't believe you think I would cheat you. After everything we've been through, after I introduced you to my family, after I taught you about Thai culture. This is how you repay me? By calling me a scammer?" "I'm not calling you a scammer. I'm asking for clarification. If these are regional variations or family-specific practices, I want to understand that. But the amounts don't align with what cultural experts say is normal." Her mother came into the room, asking what was wrong in Thai. Waruni explained rapidly in Thai. Her mother's face transformed into anger. She started yelling at me in Thai. I understood maybe 10%, but the tone was clear. Waruni didn't translate, just let her mother yell. When her mother left the room, I said quietly, "What did she say?" "She said, 'You're like every Farang. You come to Thailand, you want Thai girlfriend, but you don't want to respect Thai culture. You think you can just use me and not support my family.' She said she knew you were selfish." "Waruni, I've given $38,000 in 11 months. That's not being selfish, but I need to know that what I'm giving is for actual cultural reasons, not invented ones." She switched tactics. "Okay, maybe I ask for more than some families. But you have money. Why do you care? You're rich American and I'm poor Thai girl. You can help my family have better life. Why is that wrong?" "It's not wrong to help, but you told me these were cultural requirements. You told me this was what Thai culture expects. That's different from saying my family needs help and you have money. What's the difference? Either way, You help or you don't. Either way, you care about my family or you don't. The difference is honesty. If you'd said my family is struggling and I'm hoping you can help, that would be honest. But you said Thai culture requires this, and it would be disrespectful not to do this, and this is what Thai men do. You made me feel like questioning it was racist. She was quiet for a moment. Then, maybe I exaggerate a little bit, but I learned from Thai culture. These things are important in Thai culture. I just make sure you understand how important. By multiplying the amounts by 3? By claiming traditions that don't exist? You wanted to learn Thai culture. I taught you. Now you complain? I wanted to learn real Thai culture, not a version of Thai culture designed to extract money from me. She stood up. If you think I'm such a liar, maybe you should leave. Maybe I should, I said. That night, I packed my things. Her mother didn't speak to me. Waruni stayed in the bedroom. I could hear her crying loudly, making sure I heard. Part of me wanted to apologize, to say I'd overreacted, to blame myself for being suspicious. That's how well trained I'd been. But I left. I got a hotel in Udon Thani. And for 3 days, I just sat in that hotel room, processing what had happened. I made a more detailed analysis of the financial exploitation. I went back through my bank statements and messages to create a comprehensive picture of where the money had gone. The systematic nature of it was staggering when I laid it out chronologically. Month 1 to 2. Small amounts for family meetings, dinners, gifts. Total, about $600. This was the testing phase. See if I'd pay without question. See if I'd accept Thai culture as explanation. Month 3 to 4. Introduction of monthly obligations, household contribution, and family support payments. Total, about $2,000. This established the baseline, the recurring revenue stream. Month 5 to 6. Addition of special ceremonies and cultural events, temple donations, family celebrations, health emergencies. Total, about $4,000. This added variable income on top of the baseline. Month 7 to 8. Escalation of amounts for both regular and special obligations. Monthly payments increased, ceremony costs increased. Total, about $8,000. This tested my upper limits while I was increasingly isolated from outside perspectives. Month 9 to 10. Major requests with emotional manipulation. Commitment gift, large temple donations, family business investments. Total, about $12,000. This exploited sunk cost psychology. I'd already invested so much. Saying no now would mean admitting it was all for nothing. Month 11. The pattern would have continued indefinitely, likely with engagement and marriage bringing even larger demands. Projected, significantly higher. Total extracted in 11 months, $38,000. Actual legitimate cultural costs for the same time period, according to Dr. Prazard and other sources, approximately $5,000. Exploitation premium, $33,000. But the financial breakdown, as painful as it was, wasn't the hardest part of processing. The hardest part was looking at my own behavior, at how completely I'd been played, not just by Waruni, but by my own desire to be a good person. I'd made myself the perfect victim. My fear of being culturally insensitive, my pride in being more enlightened than other expats, my desire to be accepted by Waruni's family, my pattern of avoiding conflict, my belief in cultural relativism. She'd identified all of these qualities early and exploited each one methodically. Every time I'd felt doubt, she'd turned that doubt into evidence of my moral failing. Questioning became disrespecting. Hesitating became not loving her. Asking for verification became being racist. She'd used my own values as a weapon against me, and I defended her. That's what haunted me most. I'd written long posts in expat forums explaining that criticism of family financial obligations was ethnocentric. I'd corrected other Western men who warned about cultural manipulation. I'd positioned myself as more enlightened, more culturally sensitive, more respectful than those bitter expats who complained about being used. I'd been the punchline of a joke I didn't even know was being told. Other people had seen it. Thai people, expat people, people in forums. They'd tried to warn me, and I'd gotten defensive and self-righteous. The shame of that realization was crushing. I'd spent 33 years as a librarian, someone who helped people find accurate information, someone who valued research and verification. And I'd let myself believe claims without verification because verifying them would have made me feel like a bad person. On day 4, in the hotel, I started researching recovery and moving forward. I found an expat support group in Bangkok that specialized in helping people navigate aftermath of relationship manipulation. I found a therapist who worked with expats dealing with trauma and shame. I started reading about psychology of manipulation and how intelligent, well-meaning people get caught in these patterns. One article explained that the targets of successful long-term manipulation are usually people with strong values and empathy, people who care about being good, being fair, being respectful, because those qualities can be exploited. You can't manipulate someone using their fear of being racist if they don't actually care about not being racist. You can't manipulate someone using their guilt about privilege if they don't have any conscience about privilege. Waruni had identified that I was someone who deeply cared about being culturally respectful, about not being an entitled Westerner, about doing things right, and she'd used that to create a system where doing things right meant giving her money without question. That helped, somehow. Understanding that my vulnerability came from trying to be good, not from being stupid, but it didn't erase the shame. It didn't give me back the $38,000. It didn't undo the forum posts where I'd defended her. I did eventually contact some of the expats I'd argued with online. I sent private messages apologizing. You were right. I was being manipulated. I'm sorry I called you cynical. Most of them were kind. Some shared their own similar stories. A few said they'd suspected but didn't know how to get through to me because I was so defensive. One guy named Simon, who I'd been particularly rude to, met me for a beer. He'd been through something similar 3 years earlier. Lost about 15,000 pounds to Thai culture before a Thai colleague finally broke through his resistance and made him verify the claims. The worst part, Simon said, is that you can't even be straightforwardly angry because she didn't hold a gun to your head. You gave the money voluntarily. You believed her. So part of your brain keeps saying, this is my fault for being gullible, even though you were being systematically deceived. That captured it exactly. The confusion of being both victim and participant, of being manipulated while having agency, of being exploited while making choices. Does it get better? I asked him. Yeah, he said, but slowly, and you'll never fully trust your own judgment about cultural information again, which is actually probably healthy, but it makes things harder. I spent 2 months in Bangkok before returning to the States. I joined the expat support group. I saw the therapist twice a week. I read everything I could about Thai culture from academic sources, trying to understand what was real and what had been weaponized. I learned that Sin Sod is a real tradition, but amounts vary widely and negotiation is normal and it's often returned to the couple after the ceremony. I learned that family support is important in Thai culture, but it's usually proportional to income and reciprocal families help each other. I learned that Buddhist merit-making is significant, but donations are voluntary and modest, and no monk would specify a required amount. I learned that every cultural value she'd invoked was based on something real, which is what made the manipulation so effective. She hadn't invented Thai culture from whole cloth. She'd taken actual cultural values and twisted them, exaggerated them, weaponized them. The other thing I learned from Thai friends I made in the support group, from cultural experts I consulted, from extensive reading, was how to spot cultural manipulation versus cultural education. Real cultural education welcomes questions. Manipulation shuts down questions. Real cultural education comes from multiple sources. Manipulation insists on a single authority. Real cultural education acknowledges variations in complexity. Manipulation presents culture as monolithic and non-negotiable. Real cultural education is patient with learning curves. Manipulation creates urgency and consequences. Real cultural education serves both people's understanding. Manipulation serves one person's interests. These distinctions seem obvious now. They weren't obvious when I was in it. When you're in it, when you're being told that questioning is disrespectful, when you're being compared unfavorably to people who really understand, when you're being isolated from alternative perspectives, it's incredibly difficult to see. I went back to Seattle 6 months after everything fell apart. I didn't want to return to Thailand. The whole country felt contaminated by what had happened. But my therapist encouraged me to separate the manipulation from the place. Thailand hadn't hurt me. One person in Thailand had hurt me. The culture hadn't betrayed me. One person had weaponized the culture. So, I returned for a 2-week trip. I visited Chiang Mai, where I'd first met Waruni. I went to the temple where she'd first taught me about cultural practices. I tried to reclaim my experience of Thailand separate from my experience of being manipulated. I made a point of asking Thai people, shop owners, hotel staff, people I met casually about cultural practices, not in an intrusive way, but just genuinely. I'm curious about extradition. Can you explain how it works? The conversations were so different from what I'd experienced with Waruni. People were happy to explain, offered multiple perspectives, acknowledged that practices varied, never suggested that questioning meant I was disrespectful. A woman at a coffee shop in Chiang Mai, when I asked about family financial support norms, said something that stayed with me. Every family is different. Some families need more help, some need less. But good families appreciate help. They don't demand help. And nobody should tell you that culture requires specific amount. Culture is about values, not about money amounts. That's what I'd needed to hear 11 months earlier. That distinction between cultural values and financial demands, between appreciation and requirement, between education and exploitation. I'm back in Seattle now. I took a part-time position at the library, not ready for full retirement, but not ready for full-time work either. I'm working with the therapist, on rebuilding my trust in my own judgment, on forgiving myself for being manipulated, on recognizing that wanting to be culturally respectful isn't a flaw, even if that desire was exploited. I still struggle with shame. I see posts in expat forums warning about cultural manipulation, and I think I was that guy. I was the one who defended it. I was the example of what not to do. I struggle with whether to share my story publicly because it's embarrassing. I struggle with whether I should have known better. But I'm also learning that this wasn't about intelligence or awareness. This was about psychological manipulation by someone who was very good at it. Waruni had done this before. I found out later from the expat support group that 2 other men had similar experiences with her, both several years earlier. She'd refined her approach. She'd learned what worked. I wasn't her first student in cultural manipulation. That helps, in a strange way. Not because it excuses my gullibility, but because it contextualizes it. I wasn't uniquely stupid. I was targeted by someone experienced in this specific type of manipulation, and I had specific vulnerabilities that she identified and exploited. Looking back now, 14 months after the massage therapist said, "That's not Thai culture," I can identify exactly where the pattern worked so effectively on me. She identified my fear of being culturally insensitive and made cultural sensitivity synonymous with unquestioned financial compliance. She identified my pride in being different from other expats and made that pride dependent on believing her version of culture. She identified my avoidance of conflict and made every question a conflict, every hesitation a betrayal. She identified my lack of cultural reference points and made herself the sole authority on all cultural matters. She identified my isolation from alternative perspectives and deepened that isolation by framing other sources as negative or prejudiced. She identified my desire to be accepted by her family and made that acceptance contingent on financial demonstration. She identified my belief in cultural relativism and weaponized it to shut down any skepticism. The system was sophisticated. It wasn't just give me money. It was a comprehensive psychological framework that made me believe giving money was both morally correct and evidence of my own enlightenment. That's why it worked. That's why I defended it even when people tried to warn me. If you're watching this, if you're in a relationship where culture is constantly invoked for financial obligations, please verify. Please ask multiple Thai people. Please consult cultural resources. Please maintain friendships outside your partner's circle. Please don't let fear of being disrespectful prevent you from being informed. Real Thai culture is beautiful. Real Thai traditions have deep meaning. Real Thai values around family and respect are admirable. But real Thai culture doesn't require impoverishing yourself. Real Thai people don't weaponize their culture to prevent questions. Real cultural education empowers both people, not just one. I lost $38,000 learning this lesson. I lost 11 months believing I was being culturally educated when I was being systematically manipulated. I lost count of the forum posts I wrote defending something that was exploiting me. But I learned the difference between cultural respect and cultural exploitation. I learned that questioning isn't disrespecting. I learned that verification isn't racism. I learned that actual cultural education looks completely different from weaponized culture. And I learned that the shame of being manipulated is its own kind of trap. That if we can't talk about it because we're too embarrassed, then other people will fall into the same traps. That sharing the story, as humiliating as it is, might help someone else recognize the pattern before they're $38,000 deep in it. To anyone who thinks, I'm too smart for this to happen to me, I was a librarian for 33 years. My job was literally helping people find and evaluate information. And I fell for it completely because the manipulation wasn't about intelligence. It was about identifying my values and using them against me. To anyone who's currently experiencing something similar but isn't sure, here are the questions to ask yourself. Are you the only source of financial support with no reciprocity? Do cultural obligations only flow one direction? Does your partner discourage you from verifying cultural information independently? Are you isolated from other Thai perspectives? Does questioning make you the bad guy? Do the cultural rules change based on convenience? Do you feel guilty for being hesitant about anything? If you answered yes to most of those questions, you're not learning Thai culture. You're being exploited using Thai culture as a weapon. And to the people who tried to warn me in those forum threads, who I dismissed as cynical or prejudiced, you were right. I'm sorry I couldn't hear it then. Thank you for trying anyway.